I just finished reading Jack by Marilyn Robinson. I'm going to be doing like reviews as I read these books because I don't want to accidentally forget anything. And I am holding my phone because I don't feel like setting up my situation to film. So yeah, I did not like this book. I will say, I guess maybe if I sit down, I'll be at least a little bit more comfortable. I will say that I have not read any of the other books in the Gilead series, and I was really tempted to read them before reading this, but I have taken on so many reading projects this year that I was like, there's no way I'm gonna have time to read 3 books in addition to like everything else that's going on. So yeah, I did not like this. I don't know. I just read some reviews on Goodreads after reading this to see like what the general consensus is and like see if I guess maybe we're not supposed to do that. I don't know, but just to like see, I guess, if I am alone in my dislike of this book. I will say the writing is absolutely beautiful. And this is, I mean, just my first Marilyn Robinson book in general. So I don't know if she's written anything else besides the Gilead series, but I had a vague idea or understanding that the books did not have to be read like sequentially, or like you did not need to read all of them in order to like get the books, but that there are some recurring characters. So I guess this is a character in other books of the Gilead series. So I guess there's that, but like, so I'm wondering if maybe that is part of the reason that I had like no sympathy for Jack at all. The book was so repetitive and just him. I mean, hey, I guess the plot of this book, in case you're wondering. So we're following this like white man who is basically destitute. You know, he has just recently been released from jail. He doesn't like have a home or, you know, a job or anything. He steals things. He's a liar. He's like not a good person. And he falls in love with a black woman, and this is set during a time where like that was against the law. And it's basically the whole book is him saying, I shouldn't be with her because it's going to ruin her life, and then him choosing to go pursue her anyways. And I just wanted to punch him in the face because I was really, really upset with him. So again, I do own Gilead, so I am going to try to read the first book, and like depending on my enjoyment of that, I might read the rest of the books in the series. The writing is great. Like, I'm not going to say that she's not a good writer because the writing is really great. But I just did not care for Jack at all. And then I'm also like kind of frustrated with Della because like, what are you doing with your life? Like, you know, I don't know. It's really frustrating because like there's other people that exist on the planet. Like, you don't need to ruin your whole life for one man that is lying to you because he is not telling you all of his past. And I am kind of curious now if like in the other books it kind of talks about that other stuff. Like, I don't think that he is the main character in the other books, but I assume he's just like a character kind of in the background. So I don't know. I did not like this. I gave this 2.5 stars. I am hoping that I will enjoy the rest of the books more. Yes, it is really frustrating too though, because this book is so beautiful. Like, I love this cover so much, but I am not keeping this crap on my shelves. No, thank you. And I will also say that I like started writing a little bit in pencil. Basically, it was just very boring because he just constantly is saying, I shouldn't go after her. I shouldn't pursue her. And then him pursuing her anyways. So I just wrote, you know, I started writing in the book, but I wish that I had been more forceful with my pencil from the beginning. But I, you know, also couldn't have been bothered. So yeah, that is Jack by Marilyn Robinson. Wish me luck with the other books, eh? Hey guys, I wanted to do a couple of reviews really fast. I finished 2 more of my Booktube prize books. So yesterday I finished Homeland Elegies by Ayad Akhtar, and this was so good. This is, I just don't even know how to describe this book, really. We're following a young man who is unnamed, I think, throughout the book. He's just called Beta by his dad, which I think is just like a it's not his name. It's just like a term of endearment. I'm assuming it's definitely at minimum a nickname for our main character. So I don't really know what his name is. It's possible that they mentioned it, but I don't remember. And he is a Pakistani American. So his family is from Pakistan, but he was born in the United States. I'm pretty sure he's Pakistani now. I'm like, doubting myself, which is always really great to do when you're doing a review. Man, hold on. He is Pakistani American, so his parents are immigrants to the United States, and it just goes into so much. This is one of those books that, like, I really, really don't know how to describe. It is not a linear story. So first of all, it is not like, from A to B or whatever. It reads like a memoir, but I know it's not. I know it's a blend of both fact and fiction, according to the internet or whatever, but it feels like a memoir. So it feels like we're reading the memoir. So it's almost like, that kind of reminds me of Nabokov a little bit, where like our main character is a fictional person, but I'm reading the memoir of that person, kind of. And obviously there's a lot of stuff involved. He talks about, his family, his parents, and like their two different perspectives on the United States. So his father was like, a doctor, and he like treated Trump. So he was, really like pro-Trump. And then his mom was not a fan of like the quote American dream. She kind of wanted to be back in Pakistan, and like their marriage, and the fallout after 9/11 and how that affected him, and just like being Muslim in America, but also like just being American in America. So like these two different like worlds that he is in, and how he has different interactions, and it honestly, this was spectacular. I gave it 4 stars, but I think it's 4.5 stars. I cannot find fault with it. First of all, the writing is absolutely incredible. And also, again, it is kind of like just snippets. And my favorite thing about it is that there's a lot of rambling in it, which, probably makes not a lot of sense. But basically, he's starting a story, and then something in the story triggers, again, it's not a real story, but triggers like the memory of something else. So then he kind of goes off onto a tangent, and then you're like, oh yeah, we started off in a totally different place. And so then he brings you back to where you were. And yeah, just like different views on things and different perspectives. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's so good. I'm going to be surprised if any of the books rank higher than this for me, to be perfectly honest. I absolutely loved that, and I want to read every single book that this man has written, because it was spectacular. Then yesterday I also sat down and read Swimming in the Dark by Tomasz Jedrowski, and this is a Polish author who I believe lives in the UK now, or maybe in France. I think he lives in France. And this was also so good. Right when I finished reading this, I was like, okay, I like this better than Homeland Elegies. But now, like, in retrospect, I don't. I think Homeland Elegies is just like, it's perfect. It's so good. So this is more of like an emotional kind of story. So we're following a young man whose name is Ludwik, and this is basically, it takes place in Poland in the 80s. It is definitely like, there's a lot of political turmoil in this book, but we're following this young man who I graduated college, I think, or high school. I'm pretty sure college. And he has gone to like a work camp for the summer. So I think it's like a requirement for the party where you have to go and, spend time doing something. So he goes and he is picking beets on a mountain. And then there he meets a young man named Janice, and you guys, the love that these two have for each other. Well, I guess that I feel like if you've read the book, what I'm saying, it's misleading what I'm saying, basically. But because this book goes in so many different places after these two have their summer together, it becomes much more political after that. So it kind of almost feels like it's got two parts to the story, because at first it's just, a young man who is gay, but, doesn't really know like how to know how to come out is not the right word. He can't really come out in the society that he's living in. He basically has to be closeted, and he's having feelings that he thinks are shameful, and so he's, you know, suppressing them a little bit and not feeling good about them. But then he meets this other young man, and like there's this like spark between the two of them. And so like the descriptions that he has of him, like honestly, I'm gonna start crying thinking about it, because it's just like, it's so beautiful and so moving, and it's just like warm and fuzzy and like lovely. And then the summer ends and things become much more political, and they basically do not have the same, like, I feel like saying they don't have those same political views is not maybe correct, but they end up I don't really want to say much more about that, but there's a lot about like, you know, the differences in like status, I guess, even if you're supposed to be in like a socialist or communist society. I don't really know if which it is, to be perfectly honest with you. And anyways, it's not true socialism or capitalism, or true socialism or communism, but you know, the party kind of controls everything, and so these people that are lucky to be party members kind of like get everything they want, whereas other people have to like wait in lines for hours and hours and hours hoping to get some like extremely overpriced meat. And so like you see, you know, all of this that is going on in Poland in this time period. And like the like revolution maybe is a strong word, but there's definitely some like uprisings that are trying to happen. So yeah, I think this book like goes in so many wonderful, wonderful places, and it is like, it keeps you kind of on the edge of your toes. Again, I read it all in one day because I was just like riveted. Also because I have to, because I'm really behind on my books, but I thought it was phenomenal. I was crying at the end of it. I gave this 4 stars. I would also recommend this, but after having marinated for a day, I still do not like it as much as Homeland Elegies. I think Homeland Elegies is just stunning. So now I've got 3 more books to read, and hopefully the rest of them are good to mediocre, so that I don't have difficulties ranking my books. Just kidding. I want them all to be stellar so that I'm not wasting my time. Wasting my time is the wrong word. You know what I mean. Hopefully they're all stellar so that I feel like I've enjoyed my time reading these books that I did not pick for myself. Okay, so I'm gonna do my last reviews and then my rankings, and then I will edit this whole video together. So the next book that I had finished was A Children's Bible by Lydia Millett. And I actually really, really liked this. So this was another one of the ones that I was kind of worried about, and I can't tell you why I was worried about it, because I don't know anything about this author. And I feel like this cover does seem something that would appeal to me. So I can't tell you why I was nervous, maybe because of the title. And yeah, I really, really ended up liking this. So this follows a group of children that are the children of friends. So basically there's like, you know, some adults that like maybe in college or something, they were friends, I forget exactly. And they have taken their families on this little vacation to some kind of lake area, I think. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And so we're following the children. The children are like the main characters of the story, and they do this like fun little game where they're trying to not have the other kids know who their parents are. So the parents are just like an entity that are like off to the side. And then things get really weird and crazy. Oh gosh, of course Jake is passing through. Baby, I'm filming.
Oh, cool. What are you filming?
Can you please stop trying to embarrass me? Oh God. Okay, I guess he's not going anywhere. Anyways, I forgot what I was talking about every single time. I'm trying to film this on my computer right now. My computer keeps crashing and I am gonna lose my mind. Basically, I'm trying to talk about this book again because I think Jake broke my brain when I had to like focus on him for a second, and so I just wanted to talk about it hopefully more coherently, although at this point, now that I'm really frustrated with my computer, I don't know if it's gonna happen. But anyway, so we're following a group of kids that have completely distanced themselves from their parents. They're on this vacation together. So it's a little bit like, you know, feral children in the wilderness. They're not feral though, you know, they're mostly the children of affluent people. But because of that, I feel like they have a little bit of a sense of entitlement, and they think that they, like, deserve to go do whatever they want. But to be granted, the parents don't seem to really care a particularly large amount if the kids go off and do things on their own. The parents are really self-involved and self-interested and just kind of focused on them having a good party time, basically. So I'm sure they're not displeased that the kids are trying to, get away and kind of be more independent of them so they can focus on themselves. So that's kind of like a big tension in the book, is the parents versus the children, and the children versus the parents, and how they're interacting. And the children have a lot of animosity towards the parents because they think that their parents are not great parents. At least that's what they say. But a big plot of the book too, or a big thing in the book, is that the kids are trying to pretend. Oh my gosh, why are you doing this? Ignore. Sorry. Now my computer's telling me that my iMovie quit unexpectedly. I know. So a big thing that's happening in the book is that the kids are trying to pretend. They're trying to have the other kids not know which one their parents are. So it's, whoever is the last one standing is the winner. Whoever no one figures out who their parent is the winner. So it could just be that they're putting on a show for these other kids, because these kids don't really know each other. The parents know each other. So I feel like there's kind of like this weird thing that happens when you're meeting other kids and trying to like kind of prove something or show off a little bit. So that could be part of it. But either way, these kids, they go off and they do whatever they want, and then things happen. And I don't really want to give away anything of the plot because it's just a wild, wild ride, and it is fairly slim, and it takes like no time to read, and I would really recommend it. There's a lot about like environmental things and climate change in this book. That's like also a big thing. And yeah, that's all that I really want to say. I don't really, it's hard. The plot is so hard because it's so intense. There is a lot of references, I think, to the Bible. I have not read the Bible, and I'm not a religious person. But there is a lot of things that I would say kind of like emulate pieces of the Bible, or like bits and bobs that happen in the Bible. And so that was the only part that I was like, I'm not 100% sure, mostly because, again, I don't really know. But it didn't like take away from my enjoyment or anything. It just, that maybe a little bit heavy-handed is like the only thing I'm going to say with regards to the Bible references and with regards to the climate change stuff. But in general, I really, really liked this, and I would love to read more of Lydia's books. And hopefully that was enough information for you. I really liked it. And I definitely want to read more of her stories because she's got a weird brain, and I like it. And the next one I also was like, I'm not gonna like that, and that is White Ivy by Susie Yang. Just looking at this cover, and it's a Read with Jenna book. I don't know who Jenna is, but I don't trust her because I don't know her. So yeah, looking at this book, I was really, really not looking forward to reading this. But it was so good. So good. I also gave this book, I think, 4 stars. Oh, I guess I haven't like mentioned the star ratings that I gave any of these books. Did I? I don't know. But yeah, so this book, we're following Ivy, who is Chinese American. She was born in China, and then her family immigrated to the United States, and she came when she was 5, I think. So she grew up, like the first 5 years of her life basically was with her grandma in China, and then she moved here. And so, there's a lot of baggage that comes with that. Like you're an other, you want to fit in, you don't want to be viewed as being different or whatever. There's a lot of stuff that happens in a person when that kind of, situation happens, and which is unfortunate. Hopefully eventually will not be like that. But so she goes to this school. I think it's she becomes friends with this like, ruffian, let's say, and she is not as honest of a person maybe as one would, she's a little thief basically when she's younger, which I feel like they make like a big deal out of that and like the cover, but it's not like really a big plot point at all. I don't know why they mention it so much. I'm pretty sure they mention it a lot. But anyway, so she ends up going to this like fancier school because I think because her parents are trying to get her away from like the young boy that they're thinking is a negative influence on her, but I don't 100% remember. And she falls in love. She falls in love so hard with this like young, I'm gonna assume blonde, blue-eyed, waspy boy. I don't know why I called him young. They're the same age. But, you know, she falls in love with like the typical American boy, and she just like, you know, can't keep her eyes off of him basically. And then she gets in trouble and gets sent back to China. And then, you know, when she comes back to the US, her family has moved. So now she has like lost this love of her life. So flash forward to the future, to present, and she runs into his sister, who reintroduces her to the guy. And then, you know, things happen. This book is so good. This chick is a sociopath, okay? It is so much fun. It is so intense. The plot like really, really moves. I just like thought it was so much fun. I ranked this 4th. I think I ranked this above a children's Bible, even though it was so hard to rank these. Well, I guess I'll talk about my ranking in a minute, but I just thought this was so much fun. I'm not typically like, I would probably classify this kind of as a thriller a little bit. She's just not a good person, and she's doing really bad things, and she just does not particularly care. And I thought that was so much fun because you don't really, I don't know, like usually when I read those kinds of books, it's like old white dudes that are like the ones that are like really unaware is not the right word, but just like have like their eyes on one specific prize and like will do what they want for it. Like she knows what she wants, and she's gonna get what she wants, and that is it. And I don't really want to say much more about the book or the plot, but if you like thriller type books, and again, I don't know if I would even classify this as a thriller. It's like between fiction and a thriller, like general fiction and a thriller. But it is super fast moving plot. I feel like once you get to the like present day, it moves a lot faster. So like her previous, you know, her youth part of the book, it moves maybe a little bit slower than the present day. And you're just like constantly like on the edge of your seat. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to mess this up? What are you doing? What's going on right now? Are you crazy? Stop it, is how I felt through a lot of this book. So yeah, I would really recommend. I would definitely read more of Susie's books. I wonder, is this a debut? I don't really know. Yeah, this is a debut book. So I'm really pleased that I read this. I definitely, you know, I feel like if you're more of like a pretentious hoity-toity reader person, probably don't read this. But if you're just a regular person who likes good books, I would suggest this. And then the last book that I read, the one that I spent basically all day Sunday reading, was Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. Also a debut, people. I'm pretty sure. Now that I've said that, don't quote me. I don't know where I would even find that information. Anyways, I feel like this book has probably been talked to death because it has been really, really popular. I think I haven't been watching a ton of Booktube, to be honest, because my brain is tired all the time. But I'm pretty sure this has been extremely popular. It won the Man Booker, I guess, the Booker. So, you know, we're following young Shuggie Bain, and it's just heartbreaking and depressing, and I cried multiple times during this book. His mom is an alcoholic, and it's just so sad. It's so sad. It's really, really interesting too, because you do see like, because we, well, I guess we start like in present, I think it's like 91 or something, 92. So we start off in like his present time, which is 1992, and then we go back to 1981. And most of the book takes place in like this one place called Pithead. So at the very beginning, the book is like laid out into the different places where they're living. And so it wraps back around with his present. And it's just so sad because you can like watch how this woman like has her descent into like just true rock bottom. And her poor children. It's so sad. It is so sad because it's like so, it's just so frustrating because it's so complex. Like this woman is obviously making horrendous choices, but she is like not treated well by her parents, I don't think, and then definitely not by her husband, who is Shuggie's dad. And yeah, it's just a really, really heartbreaking, sad story. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that I know like he's like his queerness is like an aspect of the book, but I don't really think that like is it's not the focus for sure. And I feel like it's something that's just kind of like kept like in the rear. So like, you know, I mean, it's part of the reason that he's bullied so much. So I guess like in that sense, it's kind of important to the story. But I feel like personally for me, it's more of like a story of the relationship between the two of these people, the Agnes and Shuggie, and just like, it's just so sad how much this little boy loves his mom. And like how much she just like can't break free of this like horrible disease and addiction. And like how, I don't know, there's like a specific part in the middle of the book where, and I don't want to give it away, where it just like really crushed me. Like really, really, really crushed me. Oh God, it's so sad. This book is so sad. So, you know, if you don't like sad things, don't read this book, but I think it's really good. I think like it's really impressive, the book, I think, personally. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. It's really good. So I would recommend it. Oh, I was gonna say, if you like know someone that you think might be drinking too much, I would have them read this book, because that will turn them off of drinking too much, for sure. Because like, it's rough. Okay, so those are all the books. Let me rank them now, or show you what my ranking was. I guess I already ranked them. So we'll start with the worst and go to the best. And again, it's hard because the worst was Just Jack. Just Jack, by Marilyn Robinson. I think I gave this 1.5 stars on, well, I haven't rated it on Goodreads. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that in a second. But yeah, I did not like this book. I have Gilead on my shelves and I am going to read it. And if I don't like it, then I'm just gonna say see you later to both of the books. And I don't know if it's because I haven't read the other books in the series. I don't know. It's so disappointing because this cover is so beautiful. But yeah, I just didn't like this book very much. So this is the only flop for me. The rest of them were, I think, 4 stars or 4.5. I might have rated them all 4. It's kind of hard though. Like in retrospect, I maybe, I think I'm going to switch the ratings for one of these to a 4.5. So anyways, the next one, my 5th pick was A Children's Bible by Lydia Millett. Again, sorry, I thought I heard something. I did really like this. I just have to rank them. It's hard. And then next was White Ivy. So this is 4th place. And then 5th, no wait, I'm doing it backwards. Third place was Swimming in the Dark by Tomasz Jadrowski. 2nd place was Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. And 1st place for me was Homeland Elegies by Ayad Akhtar. So I love this book, and I think I'm gonna change both of these to 4.5, probably, and then leave the other ones at 4. So yeah, those were the books. So let me know if you guys read any of these books, if you were in my round, if you think that I'm wrong. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I'm so happy. I just watched the like ranking, the live ranking for Booktube prize books, and my 3 top books made it through, and Jack is not gonna be there. I always get really nervous because I do feel like, you know, other people have different types of taste, and I know everyone loves Marilyn Robinson, so I was kind of nervous, but I'm so happy.